lead to as we progress in 2021?
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Thanks for everybody jumping on this. First of all, to start the year off with a fight of this magnitude and a show of this magnitude is tremendous. And we've obviously coming off a great string with record-breaking ratings, in the fourth quarter of last year. So, you know, you have a great match in the light heavyweight division. And as you can see that, again, two guys that are very telegenic. You have Better BF, who's in the wings, waiting with his fight that is scheduled for March, that is chomping at the bit to fight and unify. And I think one of the things we're seeing is as we saw with the conversation that we're talking about, Lou and Richard Comey were talking about, is guys coming together and bringing all the titles together on the line. So as they did with Tiafimo and Loma, and hopefully we see with the big heavyweights, and maybe at 140 we're getting there, you're seeing this kind of come together. And this is a big step towards an exciting division. That we think that the titles could all come together and we can anoint one superstar. So terrific match. We've been waiting to do this match. Obviously, Maxim is not as well known in the United States as Joe Smith, and Joe's great performance that he had catapulted his career with the Bernard Hopkins fight really has made an indelible mark on people that know of him. I think Hopkins went out of the ring, and I think we're really he had a terrific performance last time against Alvarez in the bubble. So punchers, telegenic behavior, exactly what the fans want, and this is just the beginning of a great run for the light heavyweight division.
And thank you, Todd. We're just waiting Max's audio to come through. So as soon as Max's audio comes through on the Zoom, we can begin with his portion of the call. But Todd, while we wait for Max, we just had Richard Comey on. We just had Jackson Marinez on. Can you talk a little bit about that fight? I know Lou mentioned part of the deal for the Teofimo Lopez fight was bringing back Richard on ESPN, but how important was it to get Richard, a fight of significance, a fight of significant magnitude, obviously with the lightweight division being the way it is?
I want to kind of devalue what Lou said a little bit about part of the deal was to get this as part of it. And as much as that was a commitment, that's not really what this is about, right? This is really about, devaluing the loss, right? If a guy goes out there like Richard Comey and has a terrific career and fights one of the best fighters in the world and gets caught with a punch, does that mean that that's the end of their career? And I think us in boxing have to be a little more sensitive to the fact that, hey, one loss is not the end. Let's have some flexibility in this. Richard has been a very telegenic fighter, a terrific knockout puncher. And, for somebody to take the risk and to go do the big fights and entertain fans, it doesn't mean the end. And I think this is part of the trend where you put everything out, you put the effort out there, you put out, you show what you have, you talk the talk, you fight the best opportunities in front of you. Win or lose, you will have opportunities. And this is a real credit to him and his team for sticking with it and understanding that we support that belief too.
And thank you very much, Todd. And while we wait for Max, he's logging in on another device. Joe, I see Joe DeGuardia is here. I'm Joe. I'm unmuting you, sir. Joe, obviously this is a highly anticipated light heavyweight matchup. Joe has been with Joe Smith since basically the beginning. So Joe, I know this is Joe Smith's second world title opportunity. What does this mean for you to sort of be there with Joe from the beginning, and as he's earned a second world title shot, and sort of can you talk about that journey that you two have gone through together?
Oh, sure. Look, it's a fantastic journey. It's great that we're able to culminate now and be in this kind of fight for the championship of the world. When you have a guy who really resonates with the common person, the common fan, the working man, and you see how, you know, he's come up, and now he's going to be fighting for the championship of the world on a mega event next week on ESPN, seen by, I don't know, Todd will tell you how many people will ultimately be seen by, but we're talking about, you know, a massive audience and a massive opportunity for him, and it's great. It's a great feeling, especially when, you know, you work the way he worked through it. We worked through it. I mean, he came up a tough way on a hard fighting circuit here in New York. Took the fights. He took every fight that we ever asked him, and now to see him reach the stage where he's recognized now as being, you know, one of the top, if not the top, light heavyweight in the world, it's a great thing, and it's a testament to his hard work and grit. And because of that hard work and grit, it's really rewarding. It's been very rewarding for me to see him get to that level. I love it, actually. It's fun to watch him fight. He's one of the few guys that really gets me thrilled to watch him fight.
Thank you, Joe. And I see Maxim Vlasov is on the line. Max, please unmute. Please unmute, and then we'll get to your portion of the Q&A. Max, perfect. All right. Thank you, Joe. Stay with us. Mr. DeGuardi will be with you, and Joe Smith. The two Joes join us in a few minutes. Welcome, everybody. Maxim Vlasov is here with us. We have Natalia on the line. She will translate everything from English to Russian for Max. So again, please just after you ask the question, give Natalia time to translate for Max, and then she will translate the answers back in English. Okay, so again, raise hand button or send me a private message in order to ask a question. But first, I'm going to start. Max, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Yeah, thank you, Max. And Max, we have Natalia to translate for you as well. So Natalia, can you ask Max, can Max put into words what this opportunity to fight for a world title means for him?
Добрый день, Макс. Привет, добро пожаловать. Вопрос такой, скажи, пожалуйста, что для тебя значит эта возможность бороться за звание чемпиона мира сейчас?
Ну, это огромный шанс для меня, и, скорее всего, это один из последних, потому что, ну, уже возраст, и у меня очень длинная карьера, много боев, поэтому это огромный шанс, который я собираюсь использовать, и я очень благодарен судьбе, что она мне дала этот шанс, и я готов к нему на 100%. Ну, это все, к этому я шел всю свою жизнь.
This is a great chance for me, great opportunity. So just taking into account everything, my age, and that I've had a very lengthy and great career. I've had so many fights. And this time I'm grateful to my destiny that it presented such an opportunity for me. And I will do my best and will fight my best.
Thank you, Max. And we're going to go to the first question. Keith Idek from Boxing Scene. Keith, please unmute and go ahead and ready, sir.
Yes, could you ask Max what he thought of Joe Smith's performance against Eleider Alvarez? And did Joe Smith do things in that fight that maybe surprised him in terms of how well he boxed and how, you know, and everything he did against Alvarez to win that fight?
Скажи, пожалуйста, Макс, вспомни этот бой у Джо Смита вместе с Алварецом и по твоему мнению, сделал ли он что-то, применил ли он какие-то специальные технику, либо что-либо особенное для того, чтобы выиграть этот бой, и вообще, как он показал себя в этом бою?
На мой взгляд, что ничего особенного он там не показал. Он боксировал точно так же, как и всегда, как и во всех боях. Ну, может быть, немного агрессивнее, немного с большим напором, но каких-то новых личных там качеств он не показал. Здесь скорее было поражение Альвареса, то есть его ошибки. Он допускал очень много ошибок в этом бою и позволял делать Смиту то, что он хотел, то, что ему нужно было. Поэтому я считаю, что нет, Смит как бы он достаточно простой боксер, то есть он действует достаточно прямолинейно, идет вперед, много атакует и тяжело и жестко. То есть все делает достаточно одинаково. Поэтому я не считаю, что здесь была чисто заслуга Смита. Больше здесь были недостатки Альвареса.
I don't think that Joe Smith did anything in particular to win the fight with Alvarez. It's not like he presented a new technique or did something outstanding or outrageous. I would rather say that Joe Smith was just fighting more on the offensive. He was more aggressive during that fight, but he was himself. So it's more like I would say that the mistakes that Alvarez did allowed Joe Smith to advance and to outbox Alvarez. And Smith is a very, very direct fighter. He's a very simple fighter and predictable. So he always the same. So that's why I believe that the mistakes of Alvarez allowed Joe Smith to win the fight.
Can you also ask him what he saw in the fight against between Joe Smith and Dmitry Bivol, in which Bivol obviously outboxed Joe Smith relatively easily?
А сейчас, пожалуйста, скажи, Максим, что ты заметил во время боя между Джо Смитом и Биволом, русским бойцом, что позволило Биволу победить настолько с легкостью победить Джо Смита в этом бою?
Но именно то, о чем я говорил, это прямолинейность Джо. Дмитрий, очень грамотно вел бой, он практически не делал то, что выгодно. То есть он не так много шел назад, а в основном смещался на ногах и дезориентировал Джо постоянно. Поэтому ему было достаточно просто боксировать с ним.
Again, I would say it's just the strength of Bivol. So Bivol he didn't step back ever. He didn't backpedal. He was standing toe to toe to Joe Smith, and he was strong. He was tough. That's why it was very easy for him to box with Joe Smith and to win.
Thank you very much, Keith. Now we're going to go back to the UK with Jonathan Nagyov. Jonathan, please unmute and go ahead when ready, sir.
Hey, Max. Joe Smith told me that if he beats you, he wants to face Artur Beterbiev in a unification. Obviously, Dmitry Bivol is the other belt. Have you thought about the possibility of facing either one of them potentially in Russia? Is that extra motivation?
I apologize. Would you repeat the name of the first boxer you just mentioned? It was Bivol. Who was that?
Yeah, Beterbiev and Bivol.
Okay. Значит, Максим в интервью Джо Смит сказал, что он дальше есть планы у него после этого боя, а если он выиграет или проиграет, он хотел бы бороться с двумя другими сильнейшими бойцами, и в том числе опять с Биволом. Что ты можешь сказать по этому поводу? Может быть, ты хотел бы сам с ним встретиться? Какие шансы были бы в этом бою?
Во-первых, хочу сказать, что все эти планы преждевременны. Пусть сначала он пройдет меня, а потом уже будет думать о дальнейшем. Как часто бывает, вот эти заглядывания за спину, так называемые, то есть они ни к чему хорошему не приводят. Поэтому я понимаю, что да, здесь я выступаю андердогом, и то есть на меня ставки небольшие, но я собираюсь всех удивить, и поэтому я бы не советовал ему сейчас думать о будущем. Пускай он подумает лучше о нашем бое. Вот. Поэтому, что касается боев там с Дмитрием Биволом и Артуром Бетербиевым, они чемпионы, и, естественно, я хотел бы с ними встретиться в случае победы над Джо, но я об этом сейчас не думаю. Я смотрю только на предстоящий бой с Джо и думаю только о нем. Поэтому здесь нельзя заглядывать, как говорят в России, заглядывать за спину, то есть смотреть в будущее. Сейчас нужно сконцентрироваться именно на этом бое.
So I would advise Joe Smith to not look forward so far. He has to outbox or pass through me first, and then to plan his further fights. As I said already, I understand that in this particular fight with Joe Smith, I'm rather an underdog, yes, and nobody stakes on me much in this particular fight, but I'm gonna to take everybody by surprise. And then, yes, I might think about further fights, what to do next. To fight with these obvious champions, these great fighters, Arthur Beterbiev or Bivol. So, but this is my next step. Right now, I'm fully focused on this upcoming fight with Joe Smith Jr.
Thank you. We have a couple more questions for Max because I see Joe Smith, I see Jerry Capabianco, Joe DeGuardia, the whole Long Island crew is in the chat, but we have a couple more questions for Max before we get to them. So J.R. Bell, please unmute and go ahead when ready, sir.
Yes, one question there. Coming from the cruiserweight division, like how comfortable have you been here at light heavyweight given your wins over the likes of Isaac Chilemba and Omar Garcia?
Значит, сейчас вопрос. Принимая во внимание то, что вы раньше боролись в тяжелом весе, в круизер весе, а сейчас вы перешли в легкий тяжелый вес. Насколько комфортно, Макс, ты себя чувствуешь в этой весовой категории, принимая во внимание твои победы, которые ты одержал в прошлом над такими бойцами, как Омар Гарсия?
Начнем с того, что я начинал свою карьеру как средний вес, долгое время боксировал в супер среднем весе. И, естественно, первый тяжелый вес, то есть крузервейт, это не моя категория. Можно сказать, я оказался там случайно. И, в принципе, мои физические данные, так скажем, моя конституция, она не подходит для этого веса. Там люди все намного крупнее, мощнее физически. И да, я сделал попытку, в принципе, она была достаточно удачной, на мой взгляд, и я даже смог побороться там за временный титул WBO, но все-таки в итоге я принял решение, что это не мой вес, и мне гораздо комфортнее боксировать именно в полутяжелом весе сейчас, потому что здесь я могу быть, так скажем, более интересным боксером. Я могу делать те вещи, которые я не мог делать с лишним весом, который у меня был в крузервейте. Поэтому, да, здесь мне гораздо комфортнее, и я думаю, что бои мои интереснее в этом весе.
First of all, cruiserweight is not my original weight. I started as a middleweight fighter. So later on, yes, I tried to move up to category, but it was rather an accident. So I even had an attempt to get a WBO temp title, and in the cruiserweight. And however, I don't think that this is a long-term objective for me, and I don't feel as comfortable as in light heavyweight and middleweight. As like this extra weight, if I take it off me, I can be a more interesting and a better fighter. So I'm sure that I will continue fighting in the light heavyweight and middleweight rather than cruiserweight, because cruiserweight fighters are larger, like fighters, they're bigger, and it's not what I want to do in future.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, Max. Yep, you're saying?
Это вопрос к переводчику, просто про middleweight немножко некорректно. Я не собираюсь боксировать с middleweight.
I apologize. So I made a mistake. So I said that Max will continue middleweight, and he just corrected me that no, I'm not going to do middleweight. It was the beginning of my career only, so it will be light heavyweight only.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Max, and thank you, Natalia, for translating. So that will end the match.